Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. I feel like it's been so long since I've filmed a video when in fact it's only been a week. So my goal this year was to post one video every single week, but I missed out on this week because I've been so busy rehearsing for the musical Billy Elliot, if you didn't know. So that's really cool. But I'm finally filming a really cool video today and I wanted to finally touch on a very requested topic about finding your curl type and explaining the curl types. So personally, I didn't even know about curl types for a really long time, and once I finally discovered my curl type, I found it so much easier to style my hair, to understand my hair, to find what products work for my hair and all that type of stuff. It was just so much easier to maintain my hair. But besides curl type, there are a lot of factors involved with hair that determine things like what products to use and all that type of stuff. So just because I have 3B hair and someone else has 3B hair, our hair can actually be super different because we could have different densities, different porosities, and the length also comes into factor with things like styling your curls. So we're not going to touch on porosity. I've done a video on porosity before, I'll pop it up here, but we're not going to touch on porosity, density, and length today. We're just going to be explaining the curl type so that you guys have a better understanding of what products to use, and you know, you can also find more videos catered to your specific hair and so on and so on. I find this a super interesting topic, and there are heaps of charts floating around online that can confuse you a little bit because they're all really different. I found that for a while. I was like, wait, on this chart I'm like 3A, and then on this chart I'm like a 4. What's going on, because some of them weren't just very accurate. But I've done a little bit of research. I've looked at photos of actual curly girls' hair. I've looked at websites that explain it a lot better. So I've got a pretty good understanding, but don't take everything I say word for word. Like, do your own research as well. That's definitely some good advice I have for you. Technically, there are 4 different hair types. You've got type 1, 2, 3, and 4 hair. So there's 4 hair types. But under these 4 hair types, there are subcategories. There's no subcategories under number 1, but under 2, 3, and 4, you've got 2A, 2B, 2C, and then 3A, 3B, 3C, and then 4A, 4B, 4C. So there's subcategories under each category. I'm going to start with hair type number 1. I'm going to scoot over a little bit to the side so that I've got room to give some examples for you. Hair type number 1 is basically just straight hair. So if you've got no type of wave, kink, or curl in your hair, you've got type 1 hair. That is just completely dead straight hair, and we're going to move on from that because I don't have any tips. Now we're moving on to type 2 hair. As you can see here, 2A is the least wavy hair type. It doesn't really have any definition to it. It's just a little bit wavy. You know, you've got those beachy kind of waves. But it's definitely not straight, so there is a little bit of volume and body to it compared to type 1 hair. When you move on to 2B hair, it's definitely got a little bit more waves, and you really start to see an S shape forming. So the S shape on hair would be wavy. So on 2B, you really start to see more of an S shape and more kind of waves forming, but they're not extremely defined, and none of them actually ringlet or curl around. Then you've got 2C hair, which is the waviest form of type 2 hair. So this is when you start to see a much bigger S-shaped pattern in your hair, and some of them actually do curl into curls. Yeah, so some of them do start to curl, but it's not defined, they aren't tight curls, and you don't have a lot of volume. If you want to get kind of maximum curl from your wavy hair, the best type of option you have is to use light products, light leave-in moisturizers and light gels, and nothing too heavy in the shower either. So you want your products to not be heavy at all, and you want to apply them by scrunching your hair because it's going to kind of emphasize the waves you've got and emphasize any curl pattern that you do have. It will definitely emphasize your S shape as well. So that is basically type 2 hair. So you've got wavy, a little bit beachy waves, then you start to get more of an S pattern, and then you get more defined, a little bit wavier, sometimes ringlety, not ringlety, but sometimes curled S-shaped hair. So that is type 2 hair. So now we move on to type 3 hair. I sit in this type 3 category, and this is when you start to get curly hair. Starting with 3A, 3A hair still is a combination of some wave curls, but you do start to see more ringlets. They are definitely not tight at all. They're kind of fatter ringlets, and you're not going to get a huge amount of volume if you have 3A hair. So basically you're going to have loose curls and a little bit of waves in your hair, but more volume than the 2C hair. This is when you start to get really nice loose kind of curl. For 3B hair, this is when you start to get more ringlets in your curls, and I think I sit in the 3B category. I'll insert a little picture of my own hair, and this is when you start to see a lot more curl definition, and you will actually see spirals in your hair. They're not extremely tight, but they've got a decent circumference size, I would say around this kind of, and you'll start to see your hair form into proper ringlets and curls. You can achieve a lot of volume if you've got 3B hair, depending on the cut of your hair. Don't have extremely tight spiral curls, you just got a little bit looser curls that still ringlet around. And yeah, that's what I technically would say 3B hair is. 3C hair is when you start to see a lot more tight ringlets and really spiraled curls. This is the tightest type of curl pattern. So that's when you see, I'll show some photos, girls with the gorgeous, really tight ringlety curls, and you're gonna have a lot more volume because your curls kind of grow upwards rather than straight down, which I think that 3B curls grow. But a lot of people have a mixture of all these categories. So a lot of people can have a mixture of 3A, 3B hair, and a lot of people can have a mixture of 3B, 3C hair. So it's kind of just looking at these charts and trying to figure out what one you sit under. But yeah, 3C hair is definitely the curliest of curly hair, and you're going to see really tight ringlets that you could fit a pencil through. That's kind of the circumference that you're working with when you think of the ringlets for 3C hair. Personally, I think the best products for the 3 category are still using leave-in moisturizers, but mousses are amazing to emphasize volume and hold your curls in place, as well as gels. They're really good, but I wouldn't use very thick heavy butters and smoothies just when you have 3B hair. You can when you have 3C hair, but 3A and 3B hair, I wouldn't recommend using really heavy butters and smoothies and things like that, because you're going to really weigh your hair down when in fact you would probably want a little bit more volume. Interesting thing about 3A and 3B hair, you can really manipulate your curls. So I'm gonna put up a photo of me brushing out my hair when it's wet. Most people come at me and say, you don't have curly hair, because I can get it quite straight when I'm brushing it out and it's wet. But after a few minutes, it curls right back up. So people accuse me of having straight hair because it doesn't curl up straight away, but because of the way that our hair is, it just takes a little bit longer to curl up than say 3C hair does. But it doesn't mean we don't have curls, or it doesn't mean that by scrunching our hair we're faking our curl pattern. We still have our curl pattern. That's the interesting thing, you can really manipulate it. If you want to slick it right back after the shower, you can really slick it back and get rid of your curls, but obviously you still have curls at the top. But yeah, so 3B and 3A, 3B hair, you can manipulate it a lot more than you can when you start to get to 3C hair and so forth, but we definitely still have curls. I actually have a video, I'm gonna put it up the top, of me letting my hair dry completely from the shower with no product, no scrunching, and no blah blah blah, none of that, so you can go check that out if you want. That is the type 3 category for hair. Now we're moving on to the type 4 category. This is the most coarse type of hair. So instead of having an S shape or a ringlet shape for your pattern of hair, you're going to start to get more of a zigzag hair. It doesn't necessarily spiral and coil around when you get to 4B and 4C hair. It's much more zigzag, and the shrinkage is incredible. Like, girls with 4 type hair have incredible shrinkage. They can pull their hair out so far, and it just shrinks right back because of the zigzag pattern, and it's truly amazing. I think 4 type hair is gorgeous. So your curls are so tight and very thick that you can't actually see the zigzaggy or spirally pattern. Yeah, this is when you start to see like afro hair. Type 4 hair is known to be harder to maintain because of how thick it is, but it needs a lot of moisture and a lot of care. From my own research, I don't know a lot about 4 type hair, but from just watching other influencers and things like that, the best thing for your hair is going to be a lot of moisture from smoothies and butters and thicker product. As you can tell, it's super important to know which curl category that you sit under. So I hope going through this video that you kind of identified one that you think your hair sits under. So I think it's super important to know, because now you can look up products and find other people with similar hair types, and you will know that what works for them will most likely work for you. Not all the time, but it will most likely work for you. What I've also found these days that I think is awesome, there are websites where you can actually go on and kind of fill out a little quiz about your hair, and it's going to give you a rough estimate of what your curl type is, and then it's going to recommend products that work really well for your hair. So I'm going to leave an awesome website called St. Curl below. This isn't sponsored, but they're just a company in Australia I've really loved. You can hop onto the website, answer a few questions, and find your curl type, and then get recommendations for what product is going to work really well for your hair. So what is really cool about having these categories for curl types, even though there are heaps and heaps of types of curls, having them broken down into this kind of basic structure means that lots of companies are now catering to your hair. So you've got Diva Curl that has the wave maker, which I've heard is really great for type 2 hair. And then you've got companies that specifically have products and lines for 3B or 3 type hair, and then even for 4 hair. So it's really cool that companies are catering to this, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you to choose products that you think are going to work best for your hair. What I want you guys to do is comment your hair type below. I think it's really fun. So I've got 3B hair, and I've got a video on how I like to style 3B hair specifically, but comment your curl type below so we can all see each other's curl types, because I think that would be really cool. And even leave any tips that you want, so that other people that think they've got your curl type, the same curl type as you, can then have a read of your tips. So it's really important to know there are so many different types of curls. Not every curl bounces straight up after you get out of the shower. Some curls take longer than others, and every curl has a different pattern, and you can have really a few different types of curl types in your hair. I hope this was really insightful and interesting for you guys to watch and listen to, and I hope you learned something new about your own curl. If you really liked my video, make sure you go check out a few of my other videos. Give it a big thumbs up, because it helps me out heaps. Not that big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want more. I post videos weekly most of the time. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go check out my other stuff, and it's been really good to film again. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, and quickly, thank you so much for 80K. It is incredible that I'm building a really cool community with you guys here on YouTube. Also checking me out on Instagram if you want to keep up with me from day to day. But thank you so much for 80K. It really does mean a lot. I know numbers aren't something to dwell on, but it's really, really cool to see that the hard work I put in is reciprocated, and people are really enjoying my videos. So thank you so much. Forgot to say that before.